You talk dirty to me. You talk dirty to me. Talk dirty to me. You talk dirty to me.
Hey guys, thank you guys for tuning in to the A&R Report. I'm Devin Carter, and we are here for an A&R Talk session with Miles Beard. He is the Director of A&R for Warner. Thank you for doing the interview with us, Miles.
Thank you.
So let's get into it.
Let's do it.
Let's get some background history of you. What is your story? I know that you started off as a DJ, correct? Where are you from?
I'm born and raised in LA.
Okay.
And I started off as a DJ. I started off playing, since I was like 13, playing bar mitzvahs and weddings and any gig I could really get my hands on, and then from college parties to nightclubs and then finally to radio. And I met through a bunch of different DJing things. I met Ben Maddahi, who used to work here, and he kind of took me under his wing and taught me the ropes of being an A&R and how that really how a lot of the skill sets are similar, and being able to read a crowd and what that means with, songs and how, people will react to them and just understanding it from that perspective. And he just taught me and continued to, mentor me till I was able to let go of DJing and, become an A&R. So that's the short version. But it all starts from DJing. And actually, Ben was a DJ himself at one point and still is doing it. And Mike Caren, who I worked for, was a DJ, so it just kind of runs in the blood and understanding people and what they react to.
Right. So do you still DJ on the side?
I don't.
No.
This is the most DJing that you'll see. Like just it's sitting there and nothing happening with it.
Oh,
so
wow.
I don't. It's fun, but I think that it's like you have to. To me, I loved it so much. I treated it as such an art form that like you have to be up on it and you got to know what songs are going to react a certain way, and for me to just go there and play like a bunch of songs that I don't necessarily know how they're going to react. It's not as fun for me.
Right. I can understand.
But I still love it, and if the time comes, maybe a little bit. But yeah.
Okay, so who would you say have been some of your biggest influences musically?
As a kid, it was DJ AM. I have
Okay.
still a sticker on there. DJ AM was like the guy that I saw YouTube videos of and was like, I gotta do that. Just like one of those like, little kid moments where you're like, like somebody watches Superman, they're like, I want to be Superman. It was that moment where I was like, I'm buying turntables, I'm doing this thing right, I'm just gonna sit here and not, do anything till I get this right. That was huge for me. I think that, I don't have so many idols. I have like, musicians I really like. I have people that were very, very instrumental in like pushing me, and I think that, even AM to me was somebody that just, he was less of an idol, more of somebody that I just like looked up to and like really, modeled myself after and pushed me. And I think that, there's DJ AM. There's a guy named DJ Spider who really, really helped me as well and put me on the whole club scene. And then Ben, of course, is somebody that like really, really, really pushed me and taught me how to be, basically an adult. So, and it's in the music industry, and then and Mike Caren as well, who I eventually was able to start learning under after Ben, got me ready for that. And I would say those four people, are an early manager I had named Aaron. Those five people were really the people that I leaned on and respected and pushed me. I don't know if that's really the answer that you're looking for, but
that's a great answer.
The idols, Stevie Wonder, has always been like an absolute favorite. But that's just somebody that I'm an absolute huge fan of. The idols and people that push me are it's a little different answer.
Wow. Okay, so I used to intern at Atlantic, and I remember hearing that you were responsible for the horn sample in Talk Dirty to Me. Is that correct?
That's true.
So that was that was a huge song. You've had a lot of other amazing credits. You've had credits with Chris Brown, Zero. You've done Charlie Puth. You've had so many artists that you've worked with, what do you feel has up to date has been one of your biggest accomplishments as an A&R?
I think, you know, early on I started with, you know, just doing songs and helping put together songs, and Talk Dirty was big for me because it felt like, you know, I was a huge part of the creative process, and it was something that was a turning point for me because I was interning at the time, and I was in Israel, and I heard that horn sample, and you know, and took that back and tried to play it for a bunch of people, and nobody wanted to do it, and then just stuck with it, and finally something happened to it, and then even a year later, you know, it still wasn't even on the radio, and then maybe a year and a half later it was on the radio. It was just a lesson that, like, you know, you never know what's going to happen, but you kind of have to just go with your gut, and that's kind of all that you have. So for me, that was definitely a big lesson, and I think, you know, that's something I'm really proud of for that reason. And it's something that I, you know, every day when I get a new song, I'm thinking, like, and I'm like overanalyzing it, just, you know, I'm just going off of a gut feeling that I always think back to that moment, or, you know, other moments similar, and, you know, that continues me on that road, because it's easy to think, oh no, the logical thing is, you know, if you start feeling like it's not the, you know, nobody wants to do it, then you're wrong.
Right.
And I think that's when you start to fail, is when you kind of doubt your gut. But I think that the thing that I'm most proud of right now, honestly, is Charlie. It's just been an unbelievable process, and seeing him grow and, you know, become an artist, like a real artist. And a year and a half ago I met him, and that's just been something that's been really special. You know,
wow, only a year and a half
close.
ago.
Yeah, a year and a half ago we flew him out here. After hearing a few songs of his on the internet, and the first day he wrote Marvin Gaye, and the second day he wrote See You Again, and it was like,
wow, didn't
leave his side for like 3 weeks, and we signed him in those 3 weeks, and he's just an amazing person, and he's, you know, inspiring. So it's that's probably what I'm, you know, most proud of at the moment.
Wow. So okay, so what elements do you look for when you're looking to sign new talent?
I think I'm looking for people that are interesting. People that, I think the biggest thing, if you look at all the biggest artists, is like, do people want to be like them?
Mm-hmm.
You know, are people, for whatever reasons, do they want to be like them? Do they want to know about who they are?
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you have artists that might have hit songs, but people aren't latching onto their personalities, and those are great too. They're vehicles for hit songs. But I think that the people that really, you know, are selling out arenas and global superstars are people that fans care about more about who they are, even more than their music. I think that the most important thing is the song. Like, you need to have the songs, you know, and you need to be able to have hit songs that convey who you want to be, who you are. But you need people that people want to be like, and people that are interesting. And watching Charlie and seeing, you know, all these interviews he's doing, and, you know, promo and whatever, and like how he interacts with people, and how people genuinely just want to know about who he is, and how he wrote this song, and how he did this, that's attractive to me. And I think that's number one. And number two is, you know, I'd like to stay in the world of songwriters. You know, we start with people that can write songs, that can tell their own stories, and have a strong opinion on their music, because that's, you know, who they are. That's what they're representing. Even Charlie, though, he wrote See You Again, he wrote Marvin Gaye, and then he wrote On One Call Away with a bunch. He co-wrote all these things, but you know, he'll even cut an outside song, which is impressive too. You know, but it has to be very, you know, him.
Right.
Know? So I think that, you know, people that people want to be like, and people that are and a lot of times it's just like being genuine, you know. And then two, people that are songwriters. Those are my like two kind of check marks for right now, and maybe I'll discover something new in the next year, but that's where I'm at.
Okay, so what advice would you give to, you know, aspiring songwriters or artists as to how to get in contact with A&Rs and get their music out there to these major labels?
I think the best thing is for people to just write, you know, a song a day, you know, and just continue to build that muscle. You know, it's like, mean, I'm gonna sound like Mike right now, but like you're not gonna get buff unless you go to the gym every day,
right.
you know, and you're not gonna get better at doing something unless you do it every day.
Right.
So I think that it takes a lot of working out. It takes a lot of practice, and it takes putting yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
There's no point in holding all these things back, you know, when the internet is such a powerful place. You know,
right.
People always ask me like, you go to a lot of shows. I'm sure you go see a lot of shows, and I'm like, honestly, by the time it's out at a show at whatever venue, it's somebody else probably already knows about it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the internet's so much faster than a live show, and if a song's really good, it will take off on its
right.
own. You know, I mean, there's completely underdog songs like this last year. There's Cheerleader. There's like nobody, no names, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
But it was just, you know, it was just a quality song for whatever, you know, world that lives in. It was a quality song, and it found its place. You know, so
right.
yeah.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on streaming? How do you think it has shaped the new music industry?
I think it's incredible. I think that I think it's absolutely incredible. I think that you know, we've kind of like streaming's just kind of eliminated people downloading songs illegally. You know,
mm-hmm.
you know, whether it's you're making, you know, less money, you're making more money than you were when people were downloading songs illegally.
Right.
And I think that it's you know, incredible thing, and the most important thing is that these fans have access to the music, and that's giving them access and not, you know, and not limiting people. And I always think like, you know, when people only sell things in one place and you can only get it in one place, you're limiting yourself. And the whole point of this, you're gonna, you know, of course money is important, but you know, the whole point of it is to inspire people and
right.
to make great music and to put it out there in the world and, you know, make people feel good. That's the point of music. So, you know, I absolutely support streaming. I'm on, you know, Spotify myself, and I think that, you know, it's an important, very, very important part of the music industry.
Yes. Okay, so what are your thoughts on artist development in 2015, and how important, you know, of the role is it for the label to make sure that the artist is you know, ready and prepared to?
I think it's extremely important. I think that, you know, I kind of said it earlier with like, you know, you just have to be you have to be ready for it. You know, you have to be, you know, these things can happen really fast. They can happen over, you know, a long period of time. And I think that, you know, anybody coming into, you know, a major label situation can get overwhelmed and, you know, kind of get caught up with everything going on. But I think that, you know, a lot of artist development, at least in my world, is songwriting. Mm-hmm. You know, and continuing to get better songs and to, you know, craft better songs and to you know, make things, you know, more quality, and, you know, continue to get better lyrics and better melodies and better production, and studying and, you know, building up to be the best that you can be.
Right.
So I really think it lies in songwriting, and then the rest of the artist development kind of has to come naturally with what you're exposed to. If you're traveling around the world and doing promo, the only way to do it, to really develop and be ready for that, is to do it, you know.
Right.
And if you're playing live shows, you can do, you know, all the vocal lessons in the world and all the dancing lessons and whatever, but really you're just going to get better when you're doing it live.
Right,
know?
I agree.
You need all these things that are almost formalities, but, you know, the truth will come out once you kind of go through the ringer of performing.
Right.
Know? So, again, I think the real artist development is in songwriting and becoming an amazing songwriter.
I agree.
And having something to say and knowing what you want to say and who you want to be.
Right. So what are some of your goals for 2016? We're in a new year. What do you have going on?
It's funny. I don't even have goals. It's like my main goal is to look back a year from now, or right now, look back a year and be like, wow, how did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's my only real goal. And, you know, with that, all you have to do is just work really hard and trust your gut and, you know, make this your life, you know?
Right.
And that's really my goal. I mean, I have, you know, all the goals that anybody else does of, you know, taking over the world and doing that whole thing. But you know, realistically, my real, and even when I am there, I'm still probably going to want more. So
mm-hmm.
realistically, my only real goal is to be looking back a year from now and saying, that was just pat myself on the back and be like, that's impressive. How did you do that? You know?
Right.
So,
Okay.
And that's my advice too for songwriters and musicians and artists. You know, they should do the same.
That's great advice. I totally agree with that. So who are some artists that are currently on your radar that we should be on the lookout for at the A&R report?
Let's think. I think Kehlani, definitely.
Oh, yes.
Who you guys probably might know about, but Kehlani's incredible.
Mhm.
My coworker Jeff signed her, and she's just incredibly talented artist, and she's like the epitome of like being who you want to be, you know. And I think that's the goal for every artist, and she's doing it very well.
Love Kehlani.
I think Kehlani's somebody that's really is going to be an important person in the music industry. As far as songwriters, I think Madison Love is incredible. She's a new girl we just signed, and she's also an artist. Incredible songwriter that, I feel that, in a year from now, I'm not going to have to say who she is or what she's done. It's just going to speak for itself. Thomas Erickson is another one that I'm really, really excited about.
Okay.
Andrew Cedar is another one that's incredible. He actually wrote and produced on See You Again and also on GDFR by Flow Rider, and he's an underdog that's been interned here and now has major credits, and his name's going to become a household name. Those are my three tops right now. I hope that Charlie ends up continuing on his path he is now and just doubles in success. So those are, I would say, those three writers, and Kehlani and Charlie are my 5 picks.
Okay. So what advice could you give to aspiring A&Rs? People that, want to get in the industry, they don't necessarily know how to go about doing so. What advice would you give?
I think you have to feel, well, one, you gotta trust your gut. I mean, if you're trying to follow the songs that you want or the artist that you want, and you gotta really trust your gut and let that guide you. But I think that with that, you have to be willing to put in the work and the time and the effort to just figure it out. And if somebody says no, figure out a way to prove them wrong. And
Right.
and that drives me too. When somebody doesn't believe in what I'm doing, I just go into turbo mode and go.
Right.
And I think that you need that fierceness and that aggressiveness that's gonna knock down doors. But you also need that you need to trust your gut and be smart enough to recognize when you have something great and not give up on it. Or be even more important is know when to give up and know that it's not really giving up. Know what you're good at, know what you're not good at, play towards your strengths. And I dropped out of college and I wasn't great at tons of things that I should have learned from college, but I played towards my creative strengths at the time and didn't play towards my business side, and just learned that from there. And that's Aton right there. That's a guy that everybody can learn from, Aton Benor. He's incredible.
Top A&R.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Well,
that's
thank
basically
you.
it.
Thank you so much, Miles. This was very inspiring
pleasure.
for me. I'm an aspiring A&R, and I know this will be very helpful to a lot of other people
Awesome.
that come and visit our site. So thank you so
Thank you,
much.
guys.
This is the A&R behind a lot of your favorite songs that are on the radio right now. So do more research on Miles Beard.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Miles.
Thank you. That was great. So I get a little hippie sometimes, so I apologize. I'm just like very vibey.